Brown now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elway can run. Inside the 10. Head first. He flies off the 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him free to the 30, to the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Nothing wrong with Orange and Blue Podcast.
What is up, NRW crew? How you doing, MHRT fam? And it's great to see you, Broncos country. Welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Baki. Beside me, as always, my best friend in the world, godfather to my kids, and my co-host, Isaiah Henderson. And joining us for the first time on Nothing Rhymes tonight, my cousin, avid Broncos fan, cut from the same cloth as I am, a Broncos fandom, Jay Dreamweaver Weaver. What's up, guys?
Hello.
What's up, y'all? What's up? Glad to be back. It's been a couple weeks. Looking, rough, been working like crazy, but it's glad to be back. Get some Broncos talk in there. Be back with the NRW crew. So
we haven't missed you at all.
Glad to be back. Nobody actually came in, Johnny.
We haven't missed you at all. In fact, you can just leave now. I'm just kidding. No, it's good to see you guys. It's good to see you guys. Jay, how's your week been?
Been good, man. Been good. It's weird in the off season. You go in spurts of like, there's news, there's not news. But every day that I get to see some players in uniform, I get to see that Russ jersey 3 in visual, like real thing, not Photoshop. It's a great week. It's a great day.
Oh, dude, that just like quick shot of him and Court in the elevator.
Yeah.
And he's just like, how remember how Cortland said it? It was like, yes, sir, something, or yes, Skaruski,
yes, skirt.
Yeah, something like that. It was, and they were wearing pads. They weren't just wearing jerseys now. They were
in
wearing
the jersey,
pads.
in the pads.
It was, it felt so good. It felt so good.
It was Russell Wilson's first time in the full pad, full jersey. Not practice. So it was
yes, sir. It was awesome. It was awesome. So hey, we've already got Avatar as always. First guy up in the comments. What's up, Broncos country? Let's ride. Hashtag in Peyton we trust. Ya dang right, bud. You dang right. So welcome once again to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. We are a fan-led Broncos-based podcast that goes live every Thursday, 7654 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch on the MHRT Network. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, do us a favor, guys. Hit that thumbs up and like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Share it out there. Build the family. Ring that notification bell so you know when we go live and you don't miss out on anything. We have several other shows on Mile High Roundtable. You don't want to miss them. Tuesdays, the 5280 podcast, 7654, same locations. We also have our new AFC West Roundtable show, Wild Wild West. Okay, that goes live every Wednesday, 7:30, 6:30, 5:30, 4:30, and features representation from all 4 divisional teams. It's a blast. Lots of trash talk, but also really, really good conversation. You don't want to miss that. Last but not least, Broncos Breakdown every Friday, 2, 1, 12, and 11. Same streaming locations. Don't forget, again, please, that you can watch every one of our podcasts in audio form. Listen to every one of our podcasts in audio form wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And with that being said, real quick, why don't we, Isaiah, would you give us a rundown of our merch
Ooh, I wasn't even on top of it. It's been so long
you're slipping.
that I haven't been
Look at you. Look at you.
But
look at you.
I'm
2
right here
weeks
ready to
out.
go.
2 weeks out, and you are straight slipping, son.
Ladies and gentlemen, regardless of what Johnny says, why don't you just go ahead and head over to the MHRT merch store where you can get all your favorite MHRT merchandise from all your favorite channels. So as soon as we pull this up, there we go.
Yeah, you better bring that up right now. Don't fail me.
So over here at the MHRT merch store, you can get.
We can't see it. Bring it up.
Obviously, Johnny, I'm pulling it up now. Gosh, why are you always rushing me?
You're slipping on me.
There we go. Now we got it.
You're working too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so over here on the MHRT merch store. God, my computer's slow when I pull up multiple tabs. There we go. Okay, so on the merch store, you can shop. You got 5280 podcast. You got Broncos Breakdown with Bronco Bill. You got Wild Wild West. You click Discover Designs, and you can come over and click NRWB to get all your favorite merchandise.
Which we're likely looking at a redesign of the NRWOB, by the way.
So. Yeah, so this might be a different design. So if you like this design, you can get me and Johnny's face on your sweatshirt, your shirts, your bottles, your bags, anything you want. So they look for the new designs. Tune in, hit the notification bell so we can keep you guys updated on the new designs. Go ahead over to the merch store, and I believe there's a promo going on right now. If I can pull it up, I think it's 15% off. There is no promo going on, but you guys,
no promo going on right now. But either way, the link to the merch store is down in the bio, y'all. So head down there, click it, get your swag, on. So, guys, let's talk some Broncos. All right, first we got KB82 already in the house. What's up, fellas? Mundungus, scoot. I love it. I don't know if I did that right. I really don't care. we got KB82 asking right out the gate, what is up with the national media's obsession with the Chargers? It goes back to the Rivers days. They're always picked noise, and every year they fall on their face.
Well, Justin Herbert is a fantastic quarterback. I will give him that. Justin Herbert is a fantastic quarterback year 2. He broke rookie records. He put up 5,000 yards last year. He's a fantastic quarterback. You had the addition of, they lost to the Raiders to go to the playoffs, but you had the addition of J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, and they beefed up their defense a little bit.
I think Khalil Mack's on a downward slope in his career, though, so I'm not that scared of it.
People say the same thing about Russell Wilson, so I wouldn't count him out the same way. I'm not going to count out Russell
they're wrong.
Wilson.
I'm right.
But they made some upgrades, and with a quarterback like Justin Herbert and a defense
they make noise. They make noise every single year.
I'm just telling you why they're making noise.
In free agency, they make more noise than anybody else in the NFL, and every single year, plop. I'm
not predicting that this year. I'm definitely not predicting that this year. But I'm not saying. Apparently, is my mic still messed up? Because KB82 said my mic isn't sounding too good.
You might, listen to him. He says it sounds like you're broadcasting from inside of a Connex. That's awesome. Military reference. Love it. You might want to fix that.
On the subject of the Chargers, I don't know, they're always the darling in preseason, but doesn't it seem like every offseason they have some huge catastrophic injury, whether it's Derwin James, Hunter Henry back in the day? I just kind of feel like they always have a perfect roster on paper. Then you get into the second week of preseason and bam, they're right back to reality in some form. It just happens every year, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's better, Isaiah, by the way. That's much better.
Yeah, I switched the wrong one. Speaking to the webcam, the mic turned off for some reason. Yeah, it seems like they always lose momentum towards the end of the last half of the season. I don't think it's going to
in the preseason.
I don't think it's going to be that. They're a better team, but I don't think it's going to be easier for them. If they're losing steam in the last half of the season, last season, and then this year the AFC West got that much better, and the AFC got that much better, and the NFL seems to be more balanced now. I don't think it's going to be that. It's going to be harder for them to maintain momentum, but they're definitely a team I wouldn't count out. But it's going to be an interesting season. Excuse me.
All right, I like it. So, as far as OTAs goes, guys, Broncos are in week 2 now, right? First week of doing 11-on-11 mixed practices. And so we've seen some interesting things. Not a lot. God, they're not showing us enough. Not even close. Isaiah and I were on the phone the other night talking about this, and both of us were losing our minds over this.
Yeah, we need more.
Yeah, we need more. They keep talking about all these things, like the Pat Surtain interception, first play of practice on Russell Wilson. I just want a video.
They showed Justin Simmons' interception, but I think someone mentioned it. I don't think they're going to show Russell Wilson's interception. For whatever reason, people are saying they're not going to show Russell Wilson's interception.
I want to see video evidence of K-Jack and Hackett's chirping. I feel like the mic of that would be hilarious.
I want to see all of it.
And I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna talk more about that later, Jay, because I've got it. We're debuting a new segment tonight, and part of that is gonna discuss that. But like there's just so much like what we have seen, what we did get to see. I mean, there was that some beautiful passes we got to see. Russell Wilson to Jerry Jeudy, who was turning on a dime. It was beautiful. We had a beautiful look at a run by Javonte Williams. Granted, I mean, this is not full contact, not by any means. So, I mean, it was fun to see him run, but he was not taking really any impact going through that D line. Still was fun to watch. We got to see some passes from our backup quarterbacks, Josh Johnson and Brett Rippon. We had Brett Rippon to the Hall of Famer, Kendall Hinton, which was just, and Kendall Hinton looked good on that catch too.
Yeah, people are counting him out this year for whatever reason, but I definitely think he's a guy that's going to emerge as a definitely maybe wide receiver 5. I definitely think
special teams contributor.
Definitely for sure. I mean, you got Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. I definitely think Kendall Hinton's a wide receiver 5, and he's earned a spot on the field.
Yeah. Montrell Washington. What's your guys' thoughts on it? I haven't got to talk to either of you really about Montrell Washington. So what do you guys think about Montrell? I think
what number is he wearing?
Don't remember off the top of my
Is he
head.
Number 15? Guys, let us know in the comments who number 15 is.
I'm gonna look it up. Keep talking.
Yeah, because I saw from the last few highlights of OTAs, Josh Johnson's been throwing some nice passes to whoever number 15 was. And made some nice catches. But I think Montrell Washington, from what I've heard, he's definitely making a huge impact
number 12
as returner. 12. And he seems to be the guy that's going to be our returner. And that's definitely what we're missing. We got our offense and defense pretty well stacked and balanced roster. But now we need that big time returner to really blow the game open. Because I mean, all three parts of the game, all 3 parts of the team, offense, defense, and special teams are important. So we need that special teams to really pop. That can make or break a game. So we definitely need that.
Absolutely. What about you, Jay? What do you think of Montrell and his ability to possibly fit into this 53 man when the season begins?
I'm so jazzed. I mean, I guess I kind of had the same feeling for Isaiah McKenzie when he came in, human joystick. That's kind of what we thought. That was the plan. And then our coaches jacked him up and messed him up, and so goes life, and he's in Buffalo. But I think this is going to be a perfect fit for us. Perfect fit. It doesn't matter if it was maybe a reach from a draft pick standpoint. He's not really going to contribute anything on offense. He's not going to really contribute special teams other than being a returner. But I mean, that's his skill, and that's what he was hired for. So in a job sense, like, hey, you've got a skill no one else has. Just do that, and that's it. That's all we expect.
And hey, and if you go out and do it well, I mean, why? He's going to be a star, and loving that on 5280 2 weeks ago, Montrell actually came on and talked with some of our co-hosts over at 5280 podcast on the MHRT network. He's going to be a fan favorite. I don't care what anybody says. The guy has so much love, so much heart. He's a very unique guy, and he'll be a fan favorite. As long as he performs, he'll be a fan favorite. So I like Montrell Washington. And I personally think, I mean, you look, they drafted him. They drafted Montrell to be the return guy. That was the intention, obviously. I mean, I believe it was Coach Azani that came to Dwayne Stukes and said, you might want to take a look at this guy.
And then we have drafted him.
And then Dwayne Stukes pounded the table to get him. And And that's a huge thing. But you got to look at the school. He's the first player in Samford's history to be drafted.
Yeah.
They are
That's
not
impressive.
they are not. Yeah, it is. They are not a football legacy school. And basically, you look at the team that was around him with, during his senior season or even his junior season, he was the best player on a very mediocre roster. So who knows? He could walk up in here and just make waves. He could make offense. Who knows? I mean, I think he definitely makes special teams. I predict he definitely makes special teams. But I think he could surprise us. Kind of a Trinity Benson kind of thing before we traded him to the Lions. Bringing him, he could come in and make some surprises.
I guess the question I would have is, because we drafted a specific person like that, does that pretty much sunset any possibility of KJ Hamler going into that role at some point?
Yeah, I think KJ Hamler was.
Well, I think
there's always a possibility. KJ Hamler was always a possibility, but I think with his injury history and the way he wants to be the Tyler Lockett with Russell Wilson, I don't think you want to take the chance on his ACL or his hamstring, to get hurt on a return, when he's killing it on the receiver end. Because that'll just, the same way Graham Glasgow got hurt on a fourth down going into the half. You don't want something like that to happen with one of your main guys. So I think drafting a Montreal Washington guy is definitely a guy that you're like, hey, this is our return guy. As long as he can produce, because we did draft another return guy who runs a 4.2. Undrafted free agent that can run a 4.2. Yes, undrafted. So it's not his position. It's his position to lose, from what it seems like.
Well,
but nothing's guaranteed.
I wouldn't even say that. He is a rookie. I don't think it's his position to lose yet. I think you got to play 1 year for that. I think it's his position to earn right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
draft pick will always start before.
True,
you're drafted.
But even so, like even in a competition between, what's his name? I can't remember the undrafted kid that we brought in that could be a return, specialist.
I can't remember his name.
I'll have to look it up, but. Even in a competition between them, any of them could come out on top. Right now, with a new coaching staff, new scheme, all that, I don't think anyone's job is fully secure. I think they're all walking in, coaches are walking in going, except maybe Russell Wilson. Let's just be honest. Looking at it that way. These are new coaches. None of them have any stake so far in any of these players. They're going to pick the best roster that they can based on performance. So I don't think it's his job to lose. I think it's his job to earn right now. So there's that. I did want to, Mundungus did say Montreal will be the best returner in the league. No doubt in my mind. And that is not, and we definitely don't sense your bias there, Mundungus. I do want to bring this up because I actually meant to bring it up at the beginning of the show and it just slipped my mind. KB82 brings it up.
Yeah.
We would love to give our condolences from the Nothing Rhymes crew, from the NRW crew, to the passing of Marion Barber.
It's sad. He was a fantastic running back.
Yeah. Cowboys, Bears. He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Lawrence Maroney and him in Minnesota. The tailback system. Oh my gosh. That was incredible back in the day.
He was unbelievable.
And he said, Javonte Williams reminds him of Marion Barber, and I could see that a lot. When they
I didn't see what he says there, a mix of Barber and Marshawn Lynch.
There was a video going around today with Marion Barber. I think he was on the 1 yard line, and he broke a ton of tackles just to gain 2 yards. And it honestly looked a lot like Javonte's run last year, where it looked like he got hit for a loss and he broke the tackles and ended up getting 8 yards. So I could definitely see the comparisons, and just condolences and prayers to his family and his friends through this time of mourning and recovery.
And I would it's been a rough year for losing NFL players and legends, has it not?
It really has.
I mean, in the last, it may not be just in 2022, but we've lost. Oh my gosh, we've lost John Madden. We've lost
Jeff Gladney, Dwayne Haskins.
I forgot to say that. Another one that we haven't got to talk about. We just lost, Jeff Gladney just passed away as well.
And we were just talking about this offseason. I forgot who was in the group chat that mentioned, hey, we should definitely look at Jeff Gladney.
So young. So young.
Yeah, so Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins was 24, I think, 23, 24. Jeff Gladney. Marion Barber was only 38. So, it's just let everybody know, check on your friends and family.
That just makes me feel terrible about because like I'm so close to that.
That was the point. Make sure
you're a jerk.
You tell your friends and family you love them. Check on your friends and family. Enjoy as much time as you possibly can with whoever you're with, regardless of the situation. Because you never know.
You never do. And it's just been so sad seeing all these passings. And I mean, and there's still no specifics as to what happened with Barber. All we know is he was found in his home. At least as far as anything I've seen. If anything's come out since the last time I tried to look, I looked into it.
Not that I've seen.
Nothing has come out as far as any kind of specifics. But I mean, 38 years old, man. I mean,
he's young.
DT. I can't believe I neglected to talk about DT. I mean, Demaryius Thomas was only 33.
Young.
It's happening more and more. I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it happens every year, but I feel like this last 365-day period, we have just lost the NFL as a whole. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we are Broncos fans. That's what we are. This is a Broncos show. We love the Broncos, but we are football fans. We love football, and I can appreciate players for who they are and what they bring to the game. I mean, I don't like Patrick Mahomes simply because he's the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. But Patrick Mahomes is a phenomenal quarterback, and I love watching him play.
Yep.
Because I also appreciate the game. And so, I look around, and, the Broncos really haven't lost, besides DT, we haven't lost, anybody else this year. But just around the league, the talent and the legacy that has been lost in the last 365 days.
It's been a tough go.
It's been a tough go. And, you know what? I'm going to add one more to that. The talent, the legacy, and the potential that has been lost in the last 365 days. It's just saddening. And so, like Isaiah said, hug your wife and kids, hug your families. If you're, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say wife and kids. Hug your loved ones, hug your spouses, love your children. Tell everyone around you love them, because you never know. You never do. And this sappy moment has been brought to you by the makers of blank. Moving on, we'll get back to Broncos OTAs. I want to talk a bit about the ownership situation today too, because there's some, it's coming up. It's coming up, y'all.
It is.
Yep, coming soon.
Coming up. So, back to OTAs. So, what are some things you guys have heard out of OTAs from the media or from in press conferences that really or seen in video snippets? I'm sorry. Every time I say it, I got to do it. It's a Tourette. It's a tick. But some little snippets that we've seen on Twitter and stuff like that. What are some things you guys want to talk about OTAs wise? Because I'm pumped. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Well, first off, go ahead, Jay.
No, my biggest thing is really not as specific. It's just more time of saturation of being able to see that the brand new culture is being built. We don't have to see grumpy Vic Fangio anymore. Like, it's just another week of like, wow, everyone's so energized. We got music at practice. We got, people dancing, like, my gosh, I'm sure Drew Lock is shedding a tear right now. If only. So, like,
no, that's just rain on his face from being in Seattle.
But I mean, I don't know, like, it's such a unique time period to literally have a brand new quarterback and a brand new head coaching staff, a whole coaching staff. If it were one or the other, at least we could lean back on, the familiarity of one side. But we have so many new pieces that it's just interesting to see, the cohesion of all of those new pieces coming together. And it's just so exciting. Oh, it's just, hey, we don't have to talk about a quarterback competition. Like,
no, oh my gosh. I know, right? No, like, I'm going to point this out. Just kind of caveating off what you just said about this new culture, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, I do also write. I've not actually mentioned this, except for last week a little bit. I now write for Predominantly Orange, which I'm loving doing. It's a lot of fun. I want to thank the staff at Predominantly Orange for bringing me on. It's an honor to work with you guys. Some of them are legendary in the Broncos media, It's awesome being part of that. But I even wrote an article, my very first article on Predominantly Orange. Y'all can go check it out, predominantlyorange.com. You won't miss, you'll enjoy it, I promise. My very first article, I put it out a few weeks ago, and I talked about this change in energy just in general. And, like a perfect example of that is something that I heard coming out of, the first couple days this week. I believe it was on Monday, it was Monday, talking about how you're seeing Nathaniel Hackett sprinting between practice fields. Like, that's 100 yards apart, by the way, for those that don't know, sprinting between practice fields so that he can be part of the defensive practice. Then he sprints over to the offensive practice. Then he sprints back to the defense. He's running the whole time. He's jumping. He's cheering. He's high-fiving. He's talking smack. Vic Fangio used to plant himself like a tree in a single spot.
Yeah.
And then just like on a lazy Susan, turn in circles, looking around. Wouldn't walk between, wouldn't converse, wouldn't talk. He'd just stand there and watch. But we've got a guy right now who's literally running like as fast as he can possibly run between different sides of his practice so that he's involved on both sides. Well, Isaiah, where did you go?
Uh-oh.
We lost Isaiah. There goes the yin to my yang. But like hearing that, it just blew me away. I'm like, oh my God, like this is a whole other feel. I don't think we've had that in I don't know how long.
No, we even had an offensive voice. We haven't had an offensive focal point.
No,
that
we
has
haven't.
Any sort of respect in the locker room. So long has it been defense versus offense. Aqib Talib shouting down. Who was it? Juwan James or what was? Like, sit down, man. Like,
yes,
that's how it's been in a nutshell. Finally, we have like cohesive balance. Everybody's together. We're a team.
But it's not even just that. Like I'm looking at this. Just this coach, just the kind of person he is. I mean, I don't even think Mike Shanahan did that kind of stuff. I mean, he was involved. Mike Shanahan was always very involved with all sides of the team. He was, but like, I mean, he was older, of course. He
played GM.
Yeah,
big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah,
but you got Nathaniel Hackett just to be sprinting. And he's not a little guy, I mean, speaking, he's not a big guy either. Speaking from the big boys club in here, y'all make me sick with your thinness. I hate you both. But no, I'm kidding. I'm still ridiculously strong. Don't even play. But but to see like this coach who's bringing that, who's sprinting between practices, it hasn't been seen in Broncos culture in so long. And I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough. Isaiah, what was your thought that you were bringing up? Oh, real quick, out of the comments. Sorry. My mama, Jay's auntie, Karen Baki says, Dad, Mom, and Grandma in the house. Hey, Johnny, Isaiah, and Jay agree with Jay. Won't miss Fangio.
Hey, Mama, love you, miss you.
Yeah, for real.
I'm interested in seeing the Russell Wilson offensive mind experience joined together with Nathaniel Hackett's creativity.
Yeah.
And multiple players have come out and said, I'll say half, and the next half I'll wait for the segment that we're going to do. That everybody said it's complicated. They're like, it's one thing they said about the offense is that they like that it's sneaky. We want to run. I think Russell Wilson said we want to run multiple plays out of the same formation. We want you to have no idea where we're coming from. And I think I'll wait for the next segment. I'll wait for the next. No, Johnny. No, if you steal what I'm going to say before the next segment, I'm going to be so upset. I'm literally holding out.
Do you want to roll into the segment then?
Yes, because if you just jump and say it, and I'm trying to hold off on the next one, I'm going to be so angry.
All right.
Let me add one more point to this
sure.
Offensive. So,
Jay, if you steal what I'm going to say, I will shut this whole thing down.
Is it a mobile game? A mobile game?
No, you're good.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna throw credit to the James Palmer, the hair. He's the one that said this. Nathaniel Hackett is quizzing the offensive weapons and playmakers on Kahoot, the mobile game.
Yeah,
that's mind blowing. Like, did Pat Shurmur even know how to turn his iPhone on? Like,
did he even have an iPhone?
Just monumental stuff. Like, oh,
it's unbelievable. I mean, when he said, Nathaniel Hackett, when we first hired him, said, "I love technology, and I can't wait to bring technology into building this team to be better." And he's doing it. We're seeing it. It's so exciting. So, with that said, let's debut our brand new segment on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. That's what he said.
What did he say?
What's up? All right, so this is the new segment on Nothing Rhymes. That's what he said, where we discuss press conferences, just specific little things. And there's ones that have already been beaten to death across radio and podcasts, like things that guys have said the things that they said in press conferences. I'm trying to pull a few out of like these press conferences that we haven't haven't been talked about as much, maybe some. But like at the same time, go through them and be like, how are we feeling about that? How fun is it to hear that? Things like that, So
well, I'm gonna go first because I don't want anybody else to steal
okay.
it. I don't want anybody else to steal
I come up with this segment. I come up with this segment on my own this week, and he just steals my thunder.
Johnny, you almost stole my thing, and I was holding on for this segment. And if you had stolen it and I was holding off, I would have been so mad. All right. Back to what he said. The he that we were referencing is Tim Patrick. And I saw a lot of comments on this on Twitter. And Tim Patrick was saying that the playbook and the plays are very, very complicated. Just being at practice won't solve it. And I saw a lot of people saying, they're already coming up with excuses for a new coach, a new quarterback. And he said, and one thing that Tim Patrick said that a lot of people, I guess, didn't listen to, that he already said, he said, this is not an excuse for a new quarterback and new head coach. He said, we want to come out the gate firing on all cylinders. So he already answered that question. Now, the reason why I brought it up is because I was thinking about offense versus defense. And it seems to be that the defense is elite. That they are just, first play OTAs the other day, Pat Surtain picks off Russell Wilson. Apparently there was a miscommunication between Russell Wilson and Cortland Sutton. Pat Surtain was all over it, picked Russell Wilson off, took it for a pick six the first
real quick, from what I heard from media on the sidelines, there wasn't much of a miscommunication. It was that Pat Surtain was so on point that he just was like, this is mine.
I also heard that Cortland Sutton may have stopped running his route. He may have given up on the route a little bit. I'm not sure, but I know Pat Surtain's coverage was fantastic. But it seems like the defense, and the reason being is because the defense really does not have that hard of a transition. Same scheme, just terminology. But the offense has to learn a brand new playbook from the offensive line to the quarterback, because this new offensive playbook is Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson together. So it's all their creativity, all their experience coming together. Then you got to teach the receivers. Then you have to teach the offensive line. Even Javonte Williams said a running back.
Surtain ponage.
and Javonte Williams even said himself, a running back is he said, I'm more than just a running back. He said, I'm more than just a running back. I'm like a receiver and everything. So they're all having to learn new things. They're all having to learn the playbook. So it's interesting to see, like I said earlier, how good this team is going to be, how good this offense is going to be with just the creativity, the complexion of it, and having Russell Wilson and any guy can run any route.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say was bringing it up when you were talking about when I almost stole your thing.
Yes,
shut up. Tim Patrick said in his press conference this week, some of these plays have 5 possible routes per player,
and it's all based off the coverage and all. So
so if you're looking at a 3 wide, at a 3 wide set for wide receiver, that is 15 possible routes for these guys to run. That's insanity. I've never seen that. I have never seen that. No playbook I've ever looked at when in high school, looking at some college playbooks, I have never seen more than 3. I think I would honestly say the majority. Maybe
I think 4, 3. Three.
But the majority of them, 3 routes per player on certain plays. But Tim Patrick's talking about how so many of these plays have like up to 5 possible routes per player.
And he made a good point
that offense has to learn that Russell Wilson has to have in his head just for that play.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, your brain is full of it. You have to see it from Russell Wilson. You have to see the blitz. You have to see the defense. You have to see the safeties. You have to see the linebackers. You also have to, when you see all that, your center, Lloyd Cushenberry, also has to see the shift in the offensive line, the blocking scheme. Russell Wilson and Lloyd Cushenberry have to be on the same page.
Sure.
Your receivers have to see the exact same thing as the coverage, as the quarterback. So when you guys look at each other,
personally having to learn 15, having to have like that many routes in your head as the quarterback, I'm pretty sure in future press conferences, Russell Wilson's going to have like words that aren't existent in his press conference anymore, because he's going to have to forget them just to make room for all of that in there. Like he's going to be he's going to like forget how to say the word will, or forget how to use consonants, because
it's so much. I mean, you have to, as the quarterback, you have to know not only your every single offensive player's job, including their 5 routes, you also have to know what the defense is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And their potential variations, all the things they throw at you. So then he has to know all that. And then for Tim Patrick, and one thing he brought up was, practice isn't just going to cut it. We have meetings every day. He keeps this afterwards, because when you get out there, and he said we want to hit the ground firing on all cylinders. When you get out there, you have to be on the same page, because if you have 5 different routes and you think it's route 3 and Russell Wilson in his head is saying route 2, that's the difference between a incomplete pass, lack of a third down conversion, or an interception. And so Javonte Williams, who also has to know, am I blocking on this play? Am I running the route? Is this a handoff? The offensive line has to know, am I blocking down to the left? Am I choking to the right? All this stuff. What the hell did Russell Wilson just say on that audible? I don't even know what that means. And are they seeing the same defense? So it's crazy.
There's the route combinations that we're talking about, but there's also a complete change in motion pre-snap. Because we're going to a zone blocking scheme, that's a complete difference than what we have been accustomed to of like a Shermer offense, of like you're just going to have your Jerry Jeudy come all the way down with no intent. There's no intent with the motion. The motion's just to have motion, just as a plain nothing decoy. But this, I'm sure Tim Patrick's going to be more in motion than he ever has in his career. And that's a whole different thing to learn.
It is.
Yeah, and he already said that Andrew Beck is a good re-signing, because the fullback's going to be in motion.
Yep.
Running back's going to be in motion. Alberto is going to go from on the line.
It's going to be on Russell Wilson. It's going to be on Russell Wilson to make sure that whoever's in motion has their feet set before he snaps the ball. I mean, there's so much that goes into that.
Yeah, and Alberto has to learn, because he's going to be, like he said, he's going to be out playing wide receiver like George Kittle and Travis Kelce. So depending on the audible, I mean, the whole play could be designed for him to be on the line, and all of a sudden Russell Wilson sees something, and he calls whatever madness nonsense that they call for audible, and he gets up and goes out. Alberto has to know that. He has to know when he says go out that he wants to disc call. Or do you guys remember the press conference that Cooper Kupp gave? And he said he basically called out what the defense was, and people were confused on what he was saying.
Yeah.
So basically, Alberto has to be able to, all the receivers have to be able to do the same thing. Russell Wilson is saying a safety blitz. Is Alberto saying the safety blitz? That depends on the route they're running. They have to be on the same page, and it's ridiculous.
So Avatar throws on there, no vomiting on camera, Johnny. I'm sorry. Jay mentioned a Pat Shurmur offense, and I got sick to my stomach. It's not my fault, I promise you. So let's move on to some other press conference things on That's What He Said. I love Isaiah that you brought up Lloyd Cushenberry, because this is one that I haven't, that I want to bring up. And Jay also brought this up earlier when asked when Hackett was asked in his press conference a few days ago what he's seen out of Lloyd Cushenberry so far. I loved how he said that it's funny they do all kinds of testing, and they've been doing Kahoot tests, and that in every single one of them, Lloyd Cushenberry wins. And right now it's becoming to a point now that it's becoming almost a competition on offense as to who can beat Cush at the knowledge of this offense in Kahoot.
Well,
and so far, nobody has stepped up. So I want to ask you guys, what does that speak to you about what Cushenberry has been putting into learning this?
Well, Cushenberry, for starters, like I was going to say, Cushionberry, I think he finished with a 4.0 GPA at LSU.
Sure.
If I believe so. So he's an academic. So this guy knows one of the most prestigious colleges in the country.
So smart.
This guy, he knows how to study. And he mentioned
Jay's a 4.0 kind of guy. So
and he mentioned
hey, you got your degree in business. All right. You beat me.
He mentioned what he does for study. He said he goes home. He said he gets his flashcards, which is the way my dad taught me. He studies the flashcards. He watches film, and then he goes to bed. He said that's his routine every single night. And like previous coaches said, it was never the mental aspect of it for Cushionberry. Everybody from every coach from his rookie year said,
I try to sleep with headphones on and learn through osmosis. I fail.
He's smart and he knows the offense. And they've all said that.
It's a microcosm, to be quite honest. It's in the same light as when you look at an offense and you see the pieces you have and adapting to those pieces. It's the same exact thing. Is you have learners that are 21 years old. They don't care about a textbook. They don't care about your speech or PowerPoint. It's Kahoot. It's adapt to your audience. And I'm just so happy.
Nathaniel Haggard said it's like bar trivia.
Yeah, exactly.
Regarding the offensive scheme.
And what Lloyd Cushionberry is doing is he's raising all ships. So when they're like, I need to beat Lloyd, Lloyd goes home every evening and studies flashcards. Now they're going to be like, okay, you know what? I need to go home. I'm tired of losing to Lloyd. Let me go home and study some more. Let me get this down.
I like what Rich says here. Rich comments saying, I don't care about knowledge. I care about application of that knowledge on the field. Yeah. Sure. But what I'm, right now, I guess what I'm getting and what I'm getting at here before we get into the net and go on to another that's what he said is that Cushionberry right now is kind of the understood star
he's the incumbent
starter. Mm-hmm. He's the incumbent starter. So right now that's still his job. It's his job to lose, but it's still his job. A lot of people predict Graham Glasgow. A lot of people predict what's that new kid, Luke Wattenberg, possibly that we drafted. But the point is, right now, it's still his job. And to hear that at least his knowledge of this really complicated offensive scheme is better than anybody else on the team, playing the center position, which underratedly is probably the most difficult position besides quarterback to play on the field on offense, simply because of how simply because of just what it all entails. It is the center position is so underrated. I like hearing that at least right now, my incumbent starting center is the smartest guy as far as learning this new scheme.
And he mentioned something. He said, as a center, he said, you have to be smart. He said, it's expected. He said, no one pats you on the back for being smart as a center. You're expected to. And one thing he also said was, when Russ invited him out to his house in San Diego, he said that really helped a lot getting the cadence down. He said it was the timing. He said it was the cadence. And he said it was saying what he sees. Yeah. And he said that's most important is saying what he sees.
And I'm hoping we'll see it. Look, I've been hoping for years we'd see Cush take a step forward. Now, I'm all about the best guy for that job being under that position. The best guy for that job better be in that position. I'm just saying. But it gives me hope, and I like
He's
hope.
A scheme fit.
Sure.
He's a scheme fit. He's athletic. We are zone. It's tailor-made for him.
He mentioned that. That's a good point, Jay.
And Dalton Reisner and Quinn Miners.
Yes. He said, Jay brings up a good point. Lloyd also said in that press conference, he said, with outside zone scheme, I'll get to debut my athleticism. He said it's easy. He said the one thing he has to get used to is with inside zone is get the guy in front of you, move him. But with outside zone scheme is I have to remind myself, remember, hey, I don't have to necessarily focus on this guy.
No vomiting on camera, Isaiah.
I can block him and then move to the next level, which debuts his speed, his lateral movement, and his athleticism, which as a center in inside zone isn't necessarily about athleticism. It's more about power as a center.
Well, you think about real quick. I want to move on from Lloyd Cushionberry here in a second, but you think about how he was in Pat Shurmur's offense. It was almost a complete power system.
It was
all a power system, and he. You cannot argue with me on this. Was the weakest link on that offensive line in a power scheme.
I'm arguing with you.
Square peg,
well, you can argue with me, but you already know you're only arguing with me because you're wrong, and you just want to argue. He was the weakest link in a power scheme.
Yeah.
Now we're going to outside zone. Like Jay said, it's tailor-made for his athleticism, for his skill set. He you got to make that block quick, but you ain't got to hold that block. You got to be able to, from that moment, you got to be able to sidestep, move, get out, block on the run. That's what Cushenberry can be good at. And having to stand in the same spot and just hold back a dude who's literally bull rushing you from the front. That's where he struggled. So who knows? I'm really hoping we see Cush take that step.
And I definitely think I have a feeling that this is I have a feeling that this is his year, and I have a feeling that this is Dalton Reisner's year as well. Because one thing that they've mentioned, all of them have mentioned with the offense and defense, especially the offense, is if you notice in their press conferences, they always revert back to Rich Gangarella's offense in 2019.
Yeah,
they always mention it. They were
all at their best. They were all at their best, or would have been at their best if they had been in that scheme.
They always mention, 2019. Yeah, I remember saying this in 2019. Dalton Reisner said his best year was 2019, his rookie year. Garrett Bowles mentioned, he's like, I'm familiar with outside zone in 2019. They always mention it. So I think, Dalton Reisner performed the best in outside zone.
Sorry, Isaiah, you're wrong. Cush was the weakest link. Goodbye.
So it's I definitely think it's going to be I'm curious I think our offensive line is going to step up, and I think our offensive line could potentially be top 5 in the NFL, especially if Lloyd Cushenberry could really make that leap, then we can definitely have a top 5 offensive line.
All right, Jay, has there been anything you want to talk about somebody has said in a press conference? I kind of sprung this on you today, and I do apologize.
It's okay. I mean, I guess if you're not going to get to it, just the K-Jack stuff. I mean,
sure. I've got one that I pulled up just for K-Jack. And this one is the fun stuff that I talked about. And I've actually got 2 different things that were talked about, both from Tim Patrick and K-Jack about Nathaniel Hackett's trash talking. And I want to bring it up. So K-Jack was asked, how do you find a balance when you're trash talking when it's your head coach? Do you have to check yourself? And K-Jack said, nah, man, I don't hold back. I'm sure he knows, that it's all in fun and that I'm coming out doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm helping the young guys out. And I don't think he minds the stuff I say as long as I don't make it personal, basically is what he said. Tim Patrick was then asked about, they said, what's it like having a head coach who's leading the trash talk against the defense? And Tim Patrick came out saying, it's fun because I'm a trash talker. So when I see him doing it, it feels like he's got my back. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, how cool is it that we have this coach that not only sits there and is having his, like we've already talked about, bringing that energy, sprinting around the field, all that stuff, but who's trash talking?
Well, and this is the perfect personality to have with Russell Wilson, because the only big weakness that came out of Seattle with Russell Wilson is he had a hard time connecting with his teammates sometimes. He wasn't the trash talking, like, in your face dog.
He's not that guy, but he never has been.
Yeah.
The dog was inside.
Fill that role. Perfect. Head coach.
Russell Wilson, he didn't talk that. He wasn't that dog guy to talk. The dog was inside him.
Russ is the kind of guy. Russ is the kind of guy who speaks volumes with his play.
It's almost like
action.
It's almost like he had that dog in him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys get it? But yeah, it's definitely a guy, like, he lets his teammates do the trash talk. And I think with Nathaniel Hackett talking trash, he's doing it on purpose because, he's like, Nathaniel Hackett understands, unlike Vic Fangio, I'm not just the coach of one side of the ball. If my defense is excelling, my offense will excel. If my defense is successful, we are successful. So
if my offense is successful, my defense will be successful.
So his thing is, if I can trash talk the defense and get them hungry, get them riled up, and then when PS2 or Justin Simmons get those interceptions in OTAs, and all of a sudden the whole team surrounds them, that even though Nathaniel Hackett's the offensive play caller, that's okay.
But I've been hearing he's talking trash to his own offense too.
Yeah, he is.
He's not just talking trash to the defense. He's talking trash on both sides of it, being like, you ain't got nothing. You ain't the man. He's got you. Especially like I heard from a source. I'm not going to reveal my source. I will not. but I heard from a source after Pat Surtain intercepted Russell Wilson on the first play of the first practice, he was talking trash to the offense about Pat, in reference to Pat Surtain, just being like, he got your number, boo, things like that. I don't know, but he was talking smack to his own offense, and he's the offensive play caller. He's, again, an all-around coach.
Yep.
And my God, have we wanted that? Have we missed that? And I agree with you, Jay, from what you said earlier. God, in addition to just seeing more film out of OTAs, God, I know they won't give it to us, but in addition to that, God, if I could just hear him mic'd up, if I could just hear Big Nate, I kind of want to start calling Nathaniel Hackett that here on the show, Big Nate. Big Nate on the if I could just hear him mic'd up with Big Nate talking smack, I just want to hear it.
What I'm most excited for is, and I saw this, and somebody said this on Twitter, and they made a fantastic point. They said either Nathaniel Hackett's offense mixed with Russell Wilson is going to be revolutionary, or it's going to bomb. Yeah, and I'm excited, and because you think.
But do we really think it's going to bomb? Taking off the orange-colored lenses, do we really think it's going to bomb?
I think there's a middle ground where it could work, but it may not necessarily be revolutionary.
Nah, I don't think so.
But I think it's
going to be revolutionary.
My thing is, with the complexity of it, and Tim Patrick makes a good point. This is the time now because that game 1 against Seattle, I guess you still have preseason. There's going to be miscommunications.
Absolutely.
Sure.
But
look at Manning's beginning.
There's a learning curve.
Manning was terrible in the very beginning. I mean, we were like 2-3 or something like that. I mean, it's just even the greatest communicator of all time.
Well, and let me ask you one last thing on this before we get out of that's what she said and talk ownership. That's what he said. Sorry, that's what he said. My bad. Sorry, guys. I don't want to insult any of our players. So how do you feel then, since Tim Patrick did bring it up, this is the time to be working, putting in that work, getting ready. How do you guys feel about certain players like Melvin Gordon not showing up?
It's like Nathaniel Hackett said, it's voluntary.
It's voluntary, but how do you feel about him making the choice not to show up?
I have no feeling for it.
Okay.
I don't think
Melvin, how about you?
I don't think Melvin
Isaiah,
Gordon
you're
was
done.
there
Isaiah, you're done. You say you don't care. I don't care what you say.
I don't think Melvin Gordon was there last year.
Of course he wasn't. He never goes. Even in LA or San Diego.
Here's okay, Jay, how do you feel about it? And then I'm going to bring in what I think about it.
I think it's terrible. I think it's a super immature,
selfish.
It's a given. It's a given to be a professional athlete and you come to camp in shape. So that's not a justification for like, oh, well, don't worry. I'll be in shape when I come. So
I'm not worried about that.
I don't care about that. You have a brand new culture that's being established. And this is just showing you don't want to be a part of it because the guys are razzing each other and they're building camaraderie and you're not there for that.
Sure.
So,
I mean, they went bowling. They went bowling as a 90. Okay, I want to point that out. We already talked about the fact on this show. We already talked about the fact that the whole team went bowling. But you got to think right now, a whole team means 90 men, 90 guys out at a bowling alley together. They shut that bowling alley down for that. You got to think about that. But the point is, I agree with you, Jay. I'm sorry, Isaiah. I disagree with you completely. I get that these guys, especially these veterans, are set in their ways, and he's never shown up to OTAs. It's not his thing. To voluntary OTAs. That's not his thing. But you've been on this team 2 years now. You've got a brand new quarterback. You've got a brand new coaching staff that you have to impress because they have no connection to you.
Yep.
They don't. Granted, George Payton brought you back, and you're lucky he did. After everything, with everything going on, you're lucky George Payton made the effort to bring you back into the fold. You've got a brand new coaching staff that has no commitment to you. None whatsoever. You better show up. You better show out because you better learn because on day one, if you want to be the starter, even if you're not the starter, if you want to be splitting 50-50 reps, you better be ready. And Javonte's going to be ready because he's been there every single day.
Yep.
With this new
I see you guys' perspective on it. I see it a little bit differently. I think last year he didn't go to OTAs, and I think he had a fantastic year. He could improve on the fumbles, but we definitely saw his one-on-one drills with his trainer. We definitely saw him take what he learned with his trainer.
A trainer's one thing.
Hold on, John. Let me finish. He translated that into what he saw on the field. So I don't think he's missing anything in regards to one-on-one and training. In regards to the team, most of these guys know him, and I don't think they see it the way we see it. I as a fan,
maybe
as a fan, we'd say, this is a new culture. I don't think they see it that way. I don't think they're seeing it as, why isn't MG3 here? We need to get a culture. I think they see it as, this guy's been in the league for a while. This guy has right now in the NFL has the most consecutive seasons with 6+ touchdowns.
Sure.
George Payton brought him back, and they trust that he's learning the playbook and that he's working on his own, and that when it's time for them to all be there, he's going to be there ready to go. And if he's not, that's going to be on him.
Let me ask you this, and this is between me and you, because we served in the Army together, right? I was your medic. You were my infantryman. Okay. Yes, they trust that he's doing it, but would you have had confidence when we went out in the field as soldiers together in knowing full well that we were preparing for life and death situations? If you could not see me practicing my craft as your medic in the field, practically actually doing it in front of you, would you have actually trusted me truly to save your life? Or would you have been ready to be like, I don't know if Doc's got it?
Let me ask you this. Have you proven yourself to me before?
Well, yeah, because I practically was out there in front of you doing it in front of you so you could see me putting in the work, putting in the time, putting in the effort.
Because I'd seen you before.
Save your life.
Because I'd seen you before, I have no reason to. So when you came out there and I was a heat casualty, whatever the case may be, but I'd seen you put in the work before.
That's 3.
I have no reason for you to come back out again and say, well, why isn't Johnny out here with us now? Well, because we've seen who Johnny is. We've seen that Johnny knows what he's doing.
Sure,
so
you have.
It's the same way. I think it's the same way with Melvin.
But
Gordon.
These coaches haven't. They don't care about what he's done.
So
in the past,
absolutely they do.
If it's not that big a deal, why did we freak out about Jerry Jeudy being absent in San Diego, even though it was for a valid reason?
We didn't freak out, but because Jerry Jeudy has to prove himself more than Melvin Gordon does.
That's true. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
All right. I will. Yeah, that's true.
All right. Real quick, we got to get out. We're actually running so close to time. We got to talk about ownership a little bit. So that's the end of That's What He Said. Thank you for joining us for our new segment. We will definitely be doing this more often, hopefully every week, because they have press conferences every week. That's What He Said has been fun. Now, let's talk real quick. Ownership, right? Monday is the deadline for final bids on the Denver Broncos. So, now this is final bids. There are 4 groups left in the running right now. We have the Harris group. We have Walton by himself because he's Walton. And then there's a couple others. I don't remember what their names are. Where do we feel this is going to go? And knowing full well that, I mean, honestly, Rob Walton, if he wants his team, it's his team. Yeah,
he's going to get it. He's going to get it.
If he wants his team, it's his team. If he's not willing to make the payment for it, someone else is going to get it. Basically, it's him saying, I don't want it that bad.
Rob Walton's going to be the new owner of the Broncos.
You really think so?
Yeah, he's just going to say, if not, I'll just pull all the Walmarts out of every major city that you guys play in.
That'll never happen.
If the majority owners are like, no, we vote no, you vote no. Okay, Walmart is no longer in Boston, Massachusetts. It's no longer in Detroit, Michigan. Sorry, but that's on you. That's on you.
By the way, the Mountain Dew hard watermelon is delicious.
That's racist, Johnny. It's because I'm here that you decided to bring up the watermelon.
No, it's actually the last one I had left.
Yeah, Johnny, we know you're racist. I definitely think Walton would be, the guy. I think this is an avenue for him. He has a connection to Denver.
Well, his brother-in-law is Stan Kroenke, who owns like the Avalanche, the Nuggets,
everything.
I mean,
So it's the Avalanche are doing fantastic right now. So I definitely think.
Which, by the way, if y'all don't know, as soon as you get off here, you better be jumping over to watch the Avalanche.
It's game 1 of the NBA Finals. Oh, sorry.
No one cares about the NBA Finals. Look at the Stanley Cup over Jay's head. Game number 2, Avalanche versus Edmonton Oilers. Let's bring another one home, boys. That being said, boom.
I don't think we'll get new uniforms.
I disagree.
Here's where I come down. Who cares about what the owner is? If bids are due on Monday, do we get to know if it's John Elway's team or Peyton Manning's team on Tuesday? Which one is it going to? Because it's not going to be both.
Well, Jay, how fast do you think, Johnny, you said you disagree. How fast do you think they can get new uniforms out stitched with the design, agreed upon
Faster
design?
than you
Years.
Faster than you think.
Jay's being realistic.
No. Faster than you think.
Look at Washington. Washington has been planning in that for a couple of years, though.
But they also haven't. They also haven't been able to decide on a new team name until a few months ago.
On this, Jay. When they did come up with a new logo, they had the name written down already on their jerseys following the season. So I wouldn't say years. So I'm thinking if a new owner
disagree.
Johnny, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. Well.
So I'm thinking
I'm so used to you doing the opposite.
If a new owner comes in and says Rob Walton, and he goes, give me the I don't know who the hell give me the design team, give me the equipment team, whatever. Get me a new design on uniforms, find one, and I want it done before the season starts. Let me know the price, we'll get it done. I actually think yes, it could be done. It'll be maybe not this year. I think it can be ready by next season.
I think you give Nike a big enough amount of money, which Rob Walton's got that money. You'd be like, look, I need this new design with the new names, the new logo within 3 weeks. I guarantee Nike could have everything.
I wouldn't say 3 weeks, but you have to get new
color,
not necessarily the color,
whatever.
Rush,
you get my point.
Home you give jersey,
pants, you'd be like, hey Nike,
helmet,
Nike,
logo,
stop printing.
No,
shut up. Stop talking. You're done. No, you're fired. You're done. Stop talking. You're silent. I will mute you. No, I think you throw Nike enough money and be like, look, I need this order for the new logo, new jerseys, new name. Not new name. We're not getting a new name, but let's be honest. Possibly new logo. Possibly
it's a new logo.
New logo.
New logo.
New uniforms. He could be like, look, I need this ASAP. Stop printing whatever else you're printing. Stop sewing whatever else you're sewing, because I'm about to throw $1 billion at you to do it. I'm kidding. He wouldn't throw $1 billion, but he might throw $300 million at Nike and be like, get this done. And Nike's going to be like, yes, sir, Mr. Walton. Yes, sir.
I think it may be by next season. I think if you focus on it this season, it'd be done by next season. I don't think it could be done before this season.
That's the number one reason why the benefit, I think, would be of having the Harris Group instead of the Walton Group, is because the Harris Group already has ties to other sports franchises.
Sure.
And
could you imagine?
Knows the processes.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they bought Chelsea and the Denver Broncos within a month? Oh my God!
How rich is this Harris Group?
Very rich, but not Rob Walton rich. But here's how I would look at it: the Harris Group is willing to spend more of their money than Rob Walton is. They're willing to buy a professional, not just professional soccer franchise, a legendary soccer franchise, and possibly the Denver Broncos, a legendary football franchise.
Yeah, but they also may say, like, you know what?
Month.
I don't think we want to go to someone whose time is divided.
And then
I don't want
to
you
go.
To
and then real quick, because we're actually over time now, but to go with what Jay said, Peyton Manning has already said he's waiting until a group has already done it, and then he's going to throw his money at them and be like, please put me as part of this. I want to be part of this, and he can be the face of that group.
It sounds like it's between the Waltons and the Harris group.
Harris and Walton is pretty much the front runners. Everybody else is just kind of waiting in the wings, which is fine. You know what? I have already said it on this show. I am not against Rob Walton owning the Broncos. I am not.
Neither am I.
But that being said, hey, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast on MHRT Network. It isn't what it is without the fans. We are truly thankful for you all. Please remember, join us again every Thursday evening, 7654, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Check out our other shows, 5280 on Tuesdays, Wild Wild West on Wednesdays, and Broncos Breakdown on Fridays. Do not forget, if you prefer listening to audio podcasts, you can catch our podcasts everywhere you find your favorite ones. Check out our merch store, grab yourself some swag, and we will be with you next Thursday for another episode of Nothing Rhymes. That being said, Jay, would you please join us in doing the Mile High Five, because all the other shows seem to have abandoned it? I hate you guys for this, but you know what? I still don't care. It will always remain on this show. The Mile High Five is alive and well on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast and always will be. Please put your hands out with me, my friends and family, which, by the way, this is kind of cool having this be a family event now.
It is.
I love it. Mile High Five! Yes! We love you, Broncos country. We love you, MHRT fam. And we absolutely love you, NRW crew. Let's ride!